Hello, and another episode of Snack Time coming right at you. Today, we are talking about some personal branding hacks that I have managed to come up with over the years. Personal branding is something for me that's quite synonymous with my own business brand. It's something that I think, particularly in the professional services industry, and you're like, if you're going to be a kind of lead consultant or the spokesperson for your business, building and being considerate of the personal brand that you're creating is incredibly important. And it's important to consider it as part of your overall marketing strategy. So there's some things that I've done over the years to build my personal brand, and I'm going to share 4 of these hacks with you today. So hack number 1, and that's dress to get noticed. So before the kind of prevalence of Zoom, when we attended things face to face, I've always been an active networker and someone who loves a bit of professional development, so always attending events. Whenever I'm attending anything at a business level, and to be honest, even when I'm not, even when I'm kind of just in and about town, I always make sure I dress to get noticed and dress to impress. Look, some people might say that this is just an excuse for me to justify spending a little bit of money or a lot on my wardrobe and my accessories. Sure, it's very convenient. However, gosh, it does get you noticed. It really does. And I must say, even with the prevalence of Zoom now, just making sure that you've got a lovely, well, for me, a lovely bright dress on, or a bright shirt, a pair of really fantastic earrings and some bright lipstick. It gets you noticed. When there's 40 of you, your kind of faces all up on the screen, the brightness and the vibrancy really does get you noticed, to the point now where if I don't show up wearing earrings or bright lipstick, people chip me. Where's your lipstick? Where's your earrings? It's part of your brand. We don't recognize you when you're not wearing that. So it does actually get you noticed. And that's both on Zoom as well as in the crowd. I know myself, when I scan a room or when I look around on the panel at who's speaking and all the rest, it's absolutely that people that are dressed a little bit more uniquely, have their own unique style, or are dressed in something really energetic or interesting, they're the people that catch my eye. They automatically provide this subconscious intrigue for me as to, I wonder what this person's all about. There's a lot of people that dress in black or in checked shirts or in kind of beige colors, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with those colors. I wear that all the time. Well, not all the time, but sometimes too. There's a place for it. But when you're trying to stand out in a crowd, try and dress uniquely. Or just dress to impress. Hack number 2. Now, this is something I've come up with, but look, I'm sure, whether it works for everyone or not, I can't tell you, but it definitely works for me. So when I go to a conference or a professional development seminar or workshop or whatever it is, particularly when there's like a keynote speaker in a room full of people who I know are my target audience, or who I know it would be really good to get in front of. I think that usually with some presenters, they'll throw a question to the crowd, or they'll ask the crowd if they've got any questions. And this is your opportunity, and it might, for the introverts, this might make you shrink inside your chair, but there's usually an opportunity for you to then, ask a really good question. And if you ask a really good question, most of the people in the audience will notice you, and they'll take notice of what you've said. not only that, the speaker. So if the speaker or the panel or the people up on stage are who you want to kind of create a bit of impact with, they're likely going to remember you as well. In fact, this is exactly how I formed business relationship with Bernard Salt. He came to Port Macquarie and he presented at a chamber event. I think there was about 200 people in the room. He threw, at the end of his keynote, he threw it out to the floor for questions. There was probably about 5 of us that got that opportunity. And I just made sure that I asked a question that was really relevant to the information that he'd provided, and something that I thought, this is not just me asking a question to get noticed. This is a question that I'm genuinely, have an interest in answering. And it's a smart question. It's not one that he's going to go, oh, for God's sake, did you not bloody listen to what I've just said? It's something that actually makes him think, or makes him kind of reflect on what he's said and answer in a smart, intelligent way. And so I did that. I can't even remember the question that I asked. But afterwards, he came up to me and said, thank you so much for that question. It was a great question. I really enjoyed answering it. And then off the back of that, I connected with him on LinkedIn. I said, hi, thanks so much for the presentation you did today. I really enjoyed, thanks for answering my question. Da, 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 da. And he came back, really enjoyed your question again. Thanks for attending. Da, 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 da. 6 months later, I messaged him again on LinkedIn and asked him for a testimonial for my book, if he could read my book and provide a testimonial for it. Not only did he do that, but he actually provided me with a foreword for my book. He said he loves it when he meets progressive young people, and he'll do anything that he can to help them out. What a legend. And what an unexpected consequence of just asking the best question at an event. Hack number 3, post thought leadership content on social media often. If there's any consistent drumbeat that I make sure that happens in my business, regardless of whether I am dying because I've got so much work on, or whatever disruption I might be dealing with, I make sure that I am at least getting a consistent flow of content out, because it's this consistent flow of thought leadership content that builds up so that people have multiple touch points and they hear lots of different opinions and perspective and information and education from you. And it's these touch points that build up over the sometimes weeks, months, sometimes years, that actually convince people to know, like, and trust you, and help them understand where your areas of expertise lie. So anyone can show up on a website and start talking about how amazing and expert they are at this, that, and the other. But when you show up and demonstrate your expertise, week after week, month after month, year after year, people start to really understand that you are an expert in that. You're not just listing it as a feature or a benefit on your website, that you genuinely know your stuff. So definitely hack number 3, post thought leadership content often. That's a really important one. Hack number 4. So I mentioned before, I'm a big one for networking, and I think something I've done successfully over the years is pinpoint those networks or those communities where I have a keen interest in meeting the people within that membership. And I don't spread myself too thin. Like, I literally kind of focus on one at a time, one membership network at a time. But I really lean into that. So when I'm talking about leaning in, I don't just kind of become a member and show up at the events. Generally, I'll hop on the committee. So, when I first started getting really active in Port Macquarie for my business, I jumped on the Hastings Business Women's Network Committee, which was a fabulous launch pad for my business. And when you're on the committee, it forces you to show up to all of the events. Like, you can't really brush them aside because you're obliged to go because you're on the committee. But what that means is you get to meet, so many different people. And because you're on the committee, you've got an excuse to go up and introduce yourself to people. You're kind of not lurking awkwardly in the corner, you can go up and say, hi, I'm Jane, I'm the communications person on the committee. Nice to meet you, I'm welcoming you here, or whatever the case may be. I've also done that with the Chamber of Commerce. The local Chamber of Commerce was on the committee or the board for them for 2 years. And again, it just allows you to really immerse yourself within that membership and really allow you to introduce people. You've also got the opportunity to take the floor a lot of the time as a board member or as a committee member. So you get your face out there and you become known for what you do and who you are and how you're contributing to that committee. Again, it's another demonstration of where your skill sets lie. And of course, now I am the state chair of the New South Wales Committee for the Australian Marketing Institute, and all of the above applies there as well. It's just really so beneficial to be able to meet and form relationships, not only with your fellow committee members, and in this case, the Australian Marketing Institute National Board, as well as the Australian Marketing Institute office, but also, different sponsors and other partners of the Australian Marketing Institute. And generally, because you're volunteering your time for these committees or boards, they're actually really generous in giving you the opportunity, if you want to speak, or if you want to present, or if you want to actually add content that they can then share out to their membership base. Because you're giving something there, you're giving your time and your expertise, generally you can get that back if you really lean in and leverage it and make the most of it. So they're my 4 hacks on helping to increase your personal brand. So hack 1, dress to get noticed. Hack 2, always ask the best question in a group or an event. Hack 3, post thought leadership content on social media often. And hack 4, don't just join the network, get on the committee. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Snack Time.